everyone, and welcome to the 20th episode of the Orcocast, which we actually wanted to do live, but somehow didn't. But at some point we're doing a live episode, I swear to God. And with me, my beautiful co-host, Lord Val Gaming.
Hi.
And my beautiful co-host, Bum Bum down there. And
hello.
We are going to talk about Death End Request 2, Project Cast 3, Monster Hunter Iceborne, updates, and final DLC. And we are going to talk about Control, the final DLC. I'm going to start with a wonderful, really wonderful JRPG called Death End Request 2. It has the best parenting tips this side of the ocean, and it's an amazing joy to play. What people should know about me, I'm a huge fan of John Waters. I just admitted to that in private, and I can admit it into the open. So you basically know where my allegiance lies with this. I appreciate the trash. I'm a connoisseur of the trash, and the writing in this game is just freaking fantastic. But let's start from the beginning. What is Death End Request 2? Death End Request 2 is a mixture of a visual novel and a JRPG. Main writer of this game was a person who was a scenario writer on Corpse Party, which should give already hints at where this is going for people who are in the know.
Oh yeah, Corpse Party is a really wholesome series for, all ages.
So the game starts out with you being Mei Toyama, and basically within the first 2 minutes of the game, what you find out about Mei is she lives in a household with her alcoholic, abusive father, and then a minute later, she takes a hatchet to his face. Because that's how you start out a game, with a bang. Am I right, guys?
Yeah. Sounds good so far.
Yeah, sounds amazing, right?
Is that how it starts? Really?
Yes, that's the first 2 minutes of the game.
Oh my god.
Come on, Val, you know you want to play it.
Remind me. No, I'm not gonna play this in my life, man. It's just looking at it against my iPhone.
And then you find out, that's the first 5 minutes of the game. Then you find out that your main character has actually a sister. And her sister is missing. So she decides to go into the same orphanage as her sister does. And you ask, did when the mother died? And the listener might ask themselves now, wait, a mother and a sister? Why did she live with her abusive father? Well, listener, this can be handily explained. Because when the parents divorced, they decided Mei goes to her abusive father and the sister goes to her loving mother. This is how you do divorces in parenting 101. If you have any other... I love Val's reaction to that. If you have ever...
I'm trying to keep a straight face.
No, don't do it. Don't do it. It's what we're here for, you know?
Oh my god, I'm crying actually. Oh I'm actually crying, man. Oh wow.
So this is how you do your divorce, right? If you divorce, make sure one of your children goes to the abusive parent part. This is a very important message of the game. But, and hear me out. So, Mei goes to this orphanage called Woodsworth. They call it differently a dormitory or something because, it's just for girls. The girls have really cool names in there, like Rotten Dollheart. I mean, who wouldn't call their daughter Rotten Dollheart?
I mean, if you know she's going to be a future villain, you might as well.
I don't know if she's going to be a future villain, and here's an interesting tidbit. I don't know who thought that was a good idea, but she fights with a gun. I don't know who gave her that gun, but I'm pretty sure that was not a good idea. I think Val is quitting the podcast on the spot if I continue with that.
There's probably some lolly gunsmith just handing out guns.
And you start investigating where your sister has gone. Because she sent you an email with the text Barbas is coming, and you're going to find out who Barbas is. It's probably some tentacle hentai monster from outer space. I don't know yet, but we are going to find out. This is basically the plot so far. I mean, you have casual, amazing writing like the maid is just standing in the corner and has the skirt of one of the girls in her hand. I can't describe that really out of context because that was so amazing when it happened in the game. Like the girls are in the shower basically, and there's just someone standing in the corner with the skirt in their hand. So stupid. Basically, the entire story unfolds as a visual novel. The writing is stellar, as you can tell, in all the wrong ways. I thoroughly enjoy it for all the wrong reasons. For me, it's a comedy because the comedy lies in the tragedy, right? Of bad writing. And yeah, the gameplay is actually a really cool. I think the combat system of the game isn't that bad. So what you're doing is the game tries to build up a horror atmosphere, right? Like really hardcore Lequara, the town you're in is full of mysteries and monsters, and they're going to get you after midnight and everything, and the ghosts are here, and it's all cursed, and you're going to die and everything. But here's the combat system. So what you're doing is you rack up combos by playing pinball with the fucking monsters. Essentially, you just flipper them into one another, and then it goes dong 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 off the walls of the fighting arena. It's great. It's absolutely amazing. And this is your horror game, ladies and gentlemen.
I've seen it. I was like, that's the thing, because it's a Idea Factory game, and for as low budget as their output is, they tend to have always either unique or really out there systems in their games. So I think that's always kind of commendable, even if it's way off the tone of the actual story. Especially when you see the bubbles or whatever it is on the ground along the monsters, which are brightly colored, and you collect them and you get pops and effects, and then you see monsters are just something with way too many appendages.
It's like, and the game isn't even that hard. I haven't had a single issue of killing any boss or monster so far. Also, you meet this amazing girl, Rotten Dollheart, which I talked about earlier, her name. She's called Short Roddy, and she has a crush on you, so she tries to get in your pants every way she can.
I mean, she does crawl into your bed on the first night, essentially.
Yes. Second night. But
Second night.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes it better.
Yeah, that makes it better, exactly. She just wanted to sit on the bed, and then suddenly you're in bed and hugging each other.
Who's on this game?
Wow.
Oh my god. Is it sexual at the same time as scary?
It's not even scary. It's freaking hilarious.
I mean, yeah, try to be scary because oh my god, I really like. Oof, I'm not. I'm literally looking at the game and it's like it's just there is absolutely nothing that attracts me into the game. I don't know. It's who's done this? Who's the guy?
It's Idea Factory. They do low budget JRPGs, and most of their stuff is amazing. Like I don't know. I think that's also by them. Fairy Fencer. I think you linked me. Yeah, with great lines like, without fairy science, I would only have my needlessly large chest from a female. They have the best JRPGs, I tell you.
I'd say they know their audience.
Yes. Either they are really, really deep into weep territory, or they're like me, who get amusement out of how terrible everything is. I mean,
to a degree, yeah, there probably is some like attempt at genuine cheese.
and yeah, I enjoy. I mean, I really, really enjoy the game. I don't even want to knock the eyes because they give me entertainment. I got my money's worth, right?
Yeah.
But I don't know if what they intended with it. I don't think it was the way I enjoy the game they intended it to be enjoyed.
No,
Not really.
I mean it's about like as what I have expected from the game, but yeah, looked fun on the stream. Look out for the next Guardian in Destiny, Mai Toyama.
My Toyama skin incoming.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, would I recommend this game? This is always the hard question, and I would probably say no, except for two things. One, you have the same taste that I have, or two, you are a massive weep and just enjoy that kind of stuff. Other than that, save your money, go somewhere else. And yeah, that's basically Death End Request 2 for you. There's not really much to say about it. It's just, it's straightforward. The dungeon map is kind of linear. The story, the writing is amazing in all the wrong ways. The art is, I guess, alright for a cheaply made game. Sometimes they say, "Oh my god, she looks really upset," and it doesn't reflect on the character how it's drawn or just presented. You see that it was on a budget. I think if you're into that kind of stuff, go for it. You could do probably worse. The combat is not really that engaging or hard to do. You just have to flipper them like in a pinball machine. If you're into that kind of stuff, go for it. Otherwise, that's it. Just pass on it. Or wait for a steep sale.
Yeah, and the thing is, they usually go on deep sales
Yeah.
when that happens. So
Yeah.
yeah.
How much is the game price right now?
I paid $30 for it.
Yeah, I think it's like
Okay,
30 quid. It's
Is
33
it
quid.
on PC only?
It's PC and PlayStation 4.
This is on PlayStation. Okay. Just so I know what I have to avoid. I have to avoid it on PC and PlayStation. So
It doesn't even get to Xbox.
Don't lie,
I
Value.
know I can actually avoid it. I hope it doesn't come to Xbox. Thank you.
Don't
Skip
lie,
it.
Value. You're already ordered the deluxe edition and you have the body pillow.
I'm already going to order the deluxe.
Probably.
We're gonna talk about deluxe editions in a second. Just wait. wait.
Val's library on Xbox is probably full of these games, and he doesn't just want to admit it.
Yeah. He actually has a
Never.
burner account where he plays those games so nobody else knows.
Lord Weep
Oh
Gaming.
my God.
Yeah, Lord Beep Gaming, yeah.
Yeah, no. yeah, of course. Yeah, we're gonna talk about deluxe editions in a second.
Yeah, we're doing that. So this is Death End Request 2. I had a few laughs along the way, and I'm gonna continue playing it because I hope for more laughs as they go on, as the stories go.
Okay. Shall I start with the Project Cast 3?
Yes, please tear it a new one. I'm gonna look forward to it.
Okay. Project Cast 3. Oh my God. Okay, so as you all know, I probably mentioned it before. I was really looking forward to Project Cast 3. I got my Thrustmaster wheel of Thrustmaster, and I was really looking forward to playing Project Cast 3. What I knew so far, I knew the game was more of it was leaning towards the arcade. You know, it kind of like it moved away a little bit from the simulator only. You know, it was trying to, it's trying to tap into the, it's trying to tap into the audience of Forza Motorsport and like Gran Turismo a little bit. They're trying to tap into it, trying to make a little bit of, saying, we're here as well to compete with them. Okay, the first thing I'm going to say, slightly mad the studios, is please don't. I'm gonna explain why. Okay, you like avoid Project Cars 3. That's my final saying on the game. Like, if I have to say something, if I have to recommend the game to someone, do not purchase the game. When the game comes out on sale at $20 or something like that, I wouldn't even pay $20 for it. Get it then, because the game is not finished. Firstly, it doesn't seem like it's finished. That's for starters. The game has many issues, which I'm gonna explain. Is anyone here played Project Cars 3 yet? So basically, Slightly Mad Studios, since these are the guys who did the what is it? The Fast and Furious game, was it? Fast and Furious Crossroads?
Crossroads, yeah, the best game.
Oh my god! I knew it. I just knew what was going on, man. I think the same people that did the Crossroads have come and done Project Cars 3. I really okay. So let's start with the one thing. You start the game and everything. You start with a GTE car, which is the Chevrolet Corvette, I think it is GTR. But it feels great. It looks, fine. Blah blah. Whatnot. Then you start getting into the meats and potatoes of the game. So the meats and potatoes of the game is basically you have a money, a currency, which is the coins stuff, which you use them to purchase new cars. Okay, so there is like different levels of cars. There is like a ton of different levels. I think there is like 5 levels on the road class, or 7 levels on the road class, and there is like 5 on the competition car, where the GT series. Okay, so what they have done, they basically give you money. You spend the money buying cars. You upgrade the cars. You can upgrade your cars and move them. Let's say you buy a Mazda Class D or Class E, and you can upgrade it and move it up to Class E and, Class D, Class C, Class B. So basically, you can upgrade as much as you want, like on Forza Motorsport. But there is one thing, okay? If you have played Forza Motorsport, do you know one thing? Forza Motorsport has done something really, really good. And what Forza Motorsport has done well is Forza Motorsport showers you with money. Basically, you get showered with money and cars. You have multiple choices. You move on to the next division, on the next road class, or the next, whatever it is, the next level. Let's call it the next level. It showers you with money. You can buy a new car. You can enjoy a new car. You can say, I'm going to buy a Ferrari now. And then the next race, instead of the Ferrari, I want to go and buy a Porsche. And you go and buy it. And you have plenty of money. Because you do. It's like they shower you with cars and money and a million other things. Project Cars 3 leveling up system is the worst level up system of my entire life. The worst I've seen in my entire life. Firstly, it's stingy. They don't give you enough money. Second, they don't give you cars. You have to upgrade the cars that you get and just have to spend more money. And they give you a discount per car, not per brand. No, listen, you get a Ferrari and you say, I'm leveling up Ferrari. And then when you get a new Ferrari, your percentage of discount is gone. You have to start over because it's per car, not per brand. Honestly, I'm so disappointed. I really don't bash on games usually. This game is bad done. This game is not finished. The game is not finished. The game is not. I don't know what they're trying to do with this game. They have no clue what they're doing. Like Slightly Mad Studios, you had no clue what you're doing. Honestly, I swear to you, you had no idea of what you're doing. You're trying to tap into a business that you don't even know the business. You have to know the business before you do something like that. The leveling up system is slow. You reward with 10,000 coins. 10,000 coins is literally a quarter. Let me compare this to you, okay? You get 10,000 coins when you rank up on level 4, which is the level I am at now. And I have played this game for a few hours, a lot of hours. I would say I put into this game about a good 15, 20 hours already. Okay, I'm at to a point where I literally I've hit a brick wall, a literal brick wall. I can go forward, I can go backwards because I had to sell the cars before to buy new cars, and I had to upgrade my car. And the handling, don't get me started on the handling. Oh my God. The GT cars, I mean, I've tried the Aston Martin Vantage 12 V12, which is kind of okay. It slides like a mule. It's like really, it's a sliding. It's like driving on ice. Talking about ice. There is one track where you have to drive in ice. Driving in ice is the worst experience I've had on any racing. Listen, Crossroads has better driving than that. Yeah,
Awesome.
and that's a statement. Crossroads has a better driving than Project Cars 3 on snow. It's the worst experience of my entire life. I've not driven in snow on any game and felt so bad at the end of the race. It was undrivable. And guess what? The AI was not sliding at all. The AI on like I usually raise like the difficulty is another, it's a whole different story. Difficulty is like this is next level. Forza Motorsport uses adaptive difficulty. They kind of like adapt to your driving. The better you get with the driving, they adapt to you, and they actually kind of like keep up with you. They give you a challenge.
Okay,
Isn't it?
Okay, let me explain rubber banding. That's not what it does. What it does is augments the capabilities of the cars of the AI, so they have
They can
easier
keep
time
up with you.
So they don't like make the AI better. They just essentially boost the cars on the fly so they can catch up and be bigger challenge.
Exactly. So they give you a challenge. They keep you on your toes continuously. It's not rubber banding. And yeah, I mean,
Yeah, it's rubber banding.
I mean, people that know Forza Motorsport know that. I mean, for the people that don't know Forza Motorsport, exactly what Bam said.
Yeah.
The AI adapts to your driving. So basically, the better and the faster you are, the AI will, if you have adaptive AI, because you can adjust that if you want to. If you have the adaptive one, they will keep up with you. They will, they will get faster and they will give you a challenge. So that gives you the feeling that you're always fighting and you're always being challenged. So it makes you feel better when you're winning races, basically. Okay, so the difficulty on Project Cars is like you take that and remove it. That's it. The dumbest AI I've seen in my entire life. Firstly, on some tracks, it's so easy to win that you say, okay, I'm going to go up one level. Okay, so I'm currently driving on the highest difficulty, yeah? there's no track. Okay, on the snow track, I literally, just starting the race, I was last. There is no qualifying. You can't qualify. There's so many things wrong with this game. I'm just realizing it's impossible to keep track with everything. There's no qualifying, so you start like mid-pack or whatever the game wants you to be. There's rubber banding on the game, a lot, by the way. The most difficulty, the highest difficulty, let's say that's the difficulty that gives you a challenge sometimes. I don't know. Some tracks, like there is some tracks that I just go off 15 seconds on the highest difficulty. I'm like, what the heck is going on here? They can't even keep up with me. Next race, last. I'm like, wait a second. How I'm racing against the same AI. I've set the AI before all of this. I was like, way before 2 races ago. I set the AI on the same level. How in the previous race I'm like 15 seconds ahead, and the next race I am dead last. I can't even keep up with them. They are fast. They don't slide. They have like honestly, they are glued to the ground, to the freaking track. And in some tracks, they are glued on the track and they don't go. And they have the weirdest moves I've ever seen in my life. You see the zigzag of the cars, they like super fast. Have you ever seen that in the past, like 5-6 years ago? Games used to have that. Project Cars has managed to bring it back. The zigzag of the cars, like they go left, right. Within 1 second, that you like what? Like that car is having a seizure. So it's not bad. It's not bad. The AI is completely broken. Depending on the track, it will be fast, crazy fast. Other tracks will be crazy slow. Very rarely you get a challenge. Very rarely. I just can go on and on and on. I've literally, after 15, 20 hours, I've hit a massive wall. It's a brick wall. And I can't get no money. I can buy no cars. I can't upgrade. It does in the game. There's literally in the game. It doesn't matter if you finish last or first, as long as you finish your challenges. There's 3 challenges per race. Okay, all you have to care about is finishing the challenges. And sometimes the challenges is not even finishing first. Is sometimes the challenge is draft cars for like 30 seconds, draft a car for 8 seconds and get past them. And I don't know, master 3 corners. Oh, talking about corners, I'm gonna go on to that next. So basically, there is 3 challenges on each race, and they're completely random. And you're like, so what if I win the race? Do I get something? No. You win the game, you don't get nothing. You get on the end screen. Oh, winner of the race. You don't get a single coin for it. Well, I was like, wait a second. If I win the race, I must be getting something. I mean, you get a bit of XP extra. It's so difficult to level up. Like, it doesn't really matter. It's like the game is not like the game is completely wrong. In general, I was so looking forward to this game. I wanted this game to be good. The game is not done. The game is not finished. They don't even know what they're doing. Like, they don't even know what a simcade is, because a simcade rains you with money and cars, so you can try them all. You can play with them. This game is the opposite. It's complete opposite. Let's not give you any money. Let's not give you any XP. Let's not give you any cars. You figure it out. Like, I'm not gonna invest 20 or 50 hours driving the same races that I've done before just so I can buy new cars. No. Not a chance. Last, let's go on to... The driving is bad. Bad. In general, is bad. If you go into snow, is next level bad. Rain is bad, but it's meh. I would say rain is kind of compared to Forza. They kind of nailed it. Kind of. Not last. There is another one. I just keep coming up with things that are wrong with the game. Graphics. Do you know what a racing game looks on mobile?
Yes.
Yep. Sadly.
That's Project Cars 3 on Xbox One
Nice.
X. It's like probably the worst graphics on a racing game that I've seen in my life on Xbox One. It is literally the worst graphics I've seen on an Xbox One racing game. I've been told, or like, 10 studios, the guys who make Forza always said, like, racing game, quote unquote, is the easiest type of game to make, basically. Or the easiest to make it look good.
Yep.
They mention it once. They mention it once. I mean, he said quote unquote. I mean, obviously it's not easy, but it's easier than, maybe a Destiny game or a Division, because there is a lot of variables and a lot of things going on in the world at the same time. So this is just a track, sand on the sides, and people, spectators. That's it. And your car. And 10 other cars. That's it. That's all there is to it. Jesus Christ, how did they manage to do it so bad? How? Like, is this like literally? Is the graphics are bad, and I have it on max graphics. Like, it cannot go any higher. They just frame drops. I don't think I've seen any frame drops. But how are there gonna be any frame drops on a game that looks so bad already? I don't think that's possible. It's like, if I had some game drops, I literally would uninstall the game and just call it a day, because it is beyond crazy. Then the next thing I want to touch is on the braking. We all know, if you don't know the tracks, you activate your, the full track thing where you can see, that your little arrows on the floor, or there is like a line, and then it becomes red when you have to brake. Orange, where you're going a little bit fast, but then you have to, slow down a little bit, maybe lift the throttle, and then green, full on speed, you're fine. Have you seen the one on Project Cars?
No.
Oh my goodness me.
You sound really excited about this game.
It's
like we have like completely contrarian assessment of 2 games here. I was totally excited about Death End Request 2, and you're like, oh my god, Project Cars 3 is a mess. I love it.
Project Cars 3 is the biggest racing mess I've seen in my entire life. There is no game that comes close. Like, honestly, there is not a single game that comes close of how bad this game is done. It is
Are we?
bad.
Wait. I mean, I think there might be some games that are worse. I think you measuring it more to the level of expectations you had.
It's not expectations. You expect what you have seen on Project Cars. Project Cars 2 is not bad.
Project Cars 2 is
really good.
great. It's great.
Project Cars 2 is good. Project
Yeah.
Cars 2 is a really good game.
Yeah, I know.
I'm expecting, like, Project Cars 1 was good. Project Cars 2 was better than Project Cars 1 because it's an upgrade and it's got more things, more in-depth stuff, more cars. Project Cars 3, you expect it to be better than 2. So Project Cars 3 is literally worse than 2 and 1 and 0 and Crossroads combined. Like, I think Crossroads is actually better than this game. Honestly, I think Crossroads is better than Project Cars 3. It's so bad. I mean, there is one good thing that I have to say that is good about this game. One thing, and one thing only, is the GT cars, how they handle. They handle well. Because they have the experience from Assetto Corsa Competizione. I mean, if they don't do that well, I literally just send them an email saying, you should just stop making games at all, completely. Because they have the base of Assetto Corsa Competizione, which is based on GT races. And if you don't nail that, it's like you got something wrong. But with that said, the cornering, the track, the track marking. Okay, so there is a lot of tracks on the game. There is a lot of tracks, and that's really good. Blah blah. Man, there is tracks. There is like they created the tracks. They're not real. I don't even know where I'm going, and I'm literally running at 250 miles an hour or 150 miles an hour with a car that has literally no grip, because that's another thing. Some of the cars feel like you're literally floating on top of the track, like you're floating. You don't feel like you are driving. You feel like you're floating. You're a marshmallow on top of the track. That's how bad it feels. Like, honestly, you're a marshmallow. I'm driving a car at 150 miles an hour, trying to keep the car in the track, because the track have, like, all the cars have understeer. All of them. I don't know what it is to the game, because like I turn like this on my wheel and the car goes straight. The guy's like, nah, I'm going straight. I don't care.
The car knows better.
There is absolutely no traction, there is understeer on every single car. All of them. The AI goes on every corner. No issues. Easy. Like, I know that I've raced. I know that for a fact, because I tried two different cars actually. Suzuka. There is a on the back straight on the Suzuka, just 2 corners before the finish line.
Yeah.
Okay. There is a corner to the left, which is full on speed. You lift if you chicken out. Full on speed. I tried 2 different cars. There was no way. Like, every single car, I was braking. The AI wasn't braking. The AI was like, whoa. And that's one of the races that I finished last, actually. The AI was like going on the corner without a problem. I was not lifting. I was braking. And my car would not go in. Not a chance. I said, you know what? I'm going to upgrade the tires. Maybe the tires will make more grip onto the car. No. I was going to say a bad word, but no. Not a chance you get into the corner. There is a massive understeer on every single car. You turn and the car doesn't want to turn. It doesn't matter what car you use.
Can you tune up the car? Can you, like, adjust suspension?
You can adjust certain things, but not everything. Like, that's what I'm trying to say, Bam Bam. If you're a simulator, okay, I have to tune in my car because I've done it previously. I know what a racing simulator is. And if I want to play a racing simulator, I don't play Assetto Corsa. I play iRacing because it's the most realistic.
Yeah.
I have to tune it in. Okay, I know how to do the towing and the tow out, so I can adjust it, and I can, I have a bit of, I can get it. I can do it. Not on a Simcade, though. Not on a Simcade. If you're selling me a Simcade game, all the cars, by default, should be middle ground.
Well,
not the fastest, and not the.
See, that's the thing I like. I'm not saying like Project Cars 3 is good. I'm just saying that for a simcade, I think now especially because I've played a lot of Forza, I like when I have to like adjust the car to make it work to its fullest capability, and it works. So I think like if they did that at least to a degree, and it like, I mean, if the car's like a rear wheel, it shouldn't understeer to like any extent, really.
That car was actually rear wheel because it was the Mazda. Yeah.
Oh yeah, so yeah, that's pretty darn stupid.
It should, yeah, it should be. It should be having over the steering
Yeah,
left, right, and center.
The
Oh,
other
yeah.
problem, yeah.
There is like honestly, there is no all the cars. Like doesn't matter what car you use. Not it doesn't matter, Bang Bang. Pick whatever car you want. I'll drive it for you, and you'll see understeer on every single corner.
Great.
There's not a chance you can keep that straight. Go this car going into the corners. You have to brake a lot, and you have to get into the corner earlier. I found that you have to steer into the corner before the actual corner to be faster. It's just crazy. I don't know. It's a mess. The driving is a mess. The feeling on the GT cars is better, or still, it's not. I don't know. I think the game is not finished. I think the game wasn't finished. It's that simple. And the last thing, what I was saying about the corners, the tracks. Okay, you put the full on track. You expect to see lines. You expect to see arrows, the red and the green, and to see if you're going fast or not. Because I'm driving in Scotland and I haven't been in Scotland in my entire life. And this track you have created out of nowhere. I don't know this track. If I'm driving on Brands Hatch, I know Brands Hatch like the back of my head. I probably can drive Brands Hatch with my eyes closed, and I would not even go off track. Scotland, you have created that track. I don't even know what it is. Okay, you know, on driving there is braking point, apex, and exit. Okay, it's pretty simple. As for the drivers experts, you know, you got your braking point, apex, and exit. Braking point, you're braking. Apex is when the car is full on motion. You stop braking and you start moving forward. That's your apex. And then exit, full on throttle. This game, so bad. This game has got three little dots. Okay, there's three dots that like pointing at the track, which is on the middle of the track, and they're like tiny.
Oh wait, because I've seen a video of the game, and that's their racing line. It's these arrows on the track.
Yeah, there is no racing line. Racing line has disappeared. Like there is no racing line anywhere. You can't even put it.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's stupid. That's
So-
pretty darn stupid.
Yeah, so that's not because I thought that might be like the braking that the expert kind of like braking only points. I was like,
Yeah.
no, I'm not gonna put the expert braking only points. I'm gonna put the like the full line,
Mhm.
driving line. There is no driving line. You know what's your driving line? The dots.
The dots, yeah.
No, let me
Okay.
finish. Marco, let me finish. Okay, so I'm gonna say there's three. The 3 points is one is red, which is meant to be braking. Which, by the way, just so you know, newsflash, sometimes it's not braking. Wait a second. There is the other point, which is orange. It's your apex. Man, seeing the apex saved my life. Like I see the dot on the apex, it's like, Jesus Christ, I made it. This is the apex. I made it to the apex. I'm happy. And then there is the exit. By the way, being on the apex doesn't mean that you can start pushing the throttle, because probably, maybe, you will see another orange on another corner because there is a double corner, because you don't even know the track, because the track is in Scotland and it's like a version 3 Scotland reverse 0.123. You like, where the heck am I driving? It's impossible to know because it's a fictional track. You don't know. You driving on that track for once in your life, and you're like, I don't want to come back here ever in my life, because the track is like literally fits 1 car and a half, and you have to get past 12 cars. I literally pass cars just by pushing them, and I make my way through. To be honest with you, like I don't even try to get past them. I dive bomb or I push them. That's the only way to get past cars. To be honest with you. There is the orange point, and then there is the exit point, which is the blue one. The exit point is like if you did the corner perfectly, okay? So usually the blue one is like, no one cares about the blue one, to be honest. By the time you get to the blue one, like the blue one is probably 3 meters away from you. And you're like, here, because you were braking too much, because you don't even know if you were braking too much or not. And you don't want to go off track because that's another thing. Okay, you go off track, but let's say you're not caught in the corner. Okay, you are not caught in the corner. You're going off track because you're going too fast, because the braking points is so stupid. It's so stupid. And no one understands that, because I don't know if who cares? It's the braking point. Yes. Do I have to brake? Do I have to don't brake? Do I have to lift? Because sometimes there is a red point and you only have to lift a little bit and you go onto the corner because it's a fast corner. But the game doesn't tell you. The game don't tell you you're fast. No. The game is like, there's a red point. Deal with it. That's all there is. But we saved your life because I told you the apex is here. I just told you the apex is there. Deal with it. You will figure it out. You don't know if you have to brake. You don't know if you have to lift. You don't know if you can go full on speed, because sometimes there is a red dot and the orange, and you can go full on throttle and the car goes because it's a slight corner to the left. And you're like, I don't even know. I don't even have to lift in this corner. I just can go full on throttle. The points don't mean nothing at that point. Man, I just honestly, if you go, let's say you go a bit faster than normal on a corner, yeah, which is what happens more often than not if you don't know the track. You go a bit too long. You go off track a little bit. Let's say you go off track on the exit. You're not caught in the corner. You're not going inside. You're not putting your four wheels outside. No. You go off track on the exit, which is the normal thing. You driving at the limit, the normal thing is that you step on the grass or you step on the, you put at least two wheels outside. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you're trying to go to the limit. I'm driving on full on, you know what I mean? Like, I've gone off track a few times because you're on the limit. I mean, it doesn't mean that you lose the car. It doesn't mean that you go off track completely. It means that you go off track on the exit. That's normal. That's a normal thing. When you're driving, it's normal. When you're driving fast, why do I get a slowdown penalty when I'm going off track on the exit? What? I mean, you can invalidate my time. Fair enough. Why do I get a slow? Listen, when you get a slowdown penalty, you just don't get a slowdown penalty because there is no pits. By the way, pits are gone. Everything is bad in this game. You get a slowdown penalty where you start like blinking and you slow down to like a first gear and you like a 50 miles an hour or less than 50, and everyone just get past you. And sometimes you stop blinking, but there is a car inside your car. So if you are driving from the inside view, there is literally a car in your face. You can't see nothing. It's like glitch inside your car at the same time. And using a car inside your car, which is impossible. It does not let you see absolutely nothing. And you get the slowdown on the exit of the corner because you're going off track. Because you are, let's say, going a bit too far and you put two wheels on the outside turf and you get a slowdown. That is the most stupid slowdown of the entirety of sim or simcade or any type of racing. You only get a slowdown if you cut a corner. You don't get a slowdown if you go off track on the exit of the corner. You have to know very little about racing games or very little about racing in general, because even on real racing, you might get a warning if you go off track. If you put your four wheels on the outside of the track on the exit, after you do it 2 or 3 times, you might get a warning. Usually, going off track on the exit does not get you a slowdown unless you do it during the entire race, or you get a warning and you keep doing it because you're gaining time with it. No, if you are going because that's another thing. If you're going off track, like the off track on this game, it literally puts you like down to the first gear. That's a punishment just for going off track, and then you get the slowdown. It is the worst, honestly, worst simcade or any racing game that I've seen in my entire life. I was excited about this game. It's a massive disappointment. I think IGN has given it a 6 out of 10. I would literally put this game a 2 out of 10. because only the GT cars save this game. That's the only thing that feels good about the game. The changing of the weather is beautiful, and unless it's snowing. If it's snowing, just forget about racing. And to be honest, if you Google it right now, there's a 2.3 rating on this game, so on Google in general. So I wouldn't even I wouldn't even give it a 2. Like it's really the worst made game. It's like nothing is right about the game. There is nothing right. They didn't get a single thing right. I don't know how or who's done it. But I think maybe, slightly mad was too busy doing Crossroads and making the next Need for Speed, which was a massive flop. They did this game at the same time. It is a steal of your money if you purchase this game now, because it is absolutely terrible in every single thing of the game. There is nothing can save the game. I don't know. There is nothing. That's it. And all of this, like if you want to progress into the game, you have to focus on the challenges. That's it. You can't focus on winning the races. It's all about the challenges. Winning a race does not get you nothing. Nothing. It's just you have to do 7 clean passes, master 7 corners, and drag, people for 10 seconds, or don't finish. Don't be below the 10th position in the entire race. Those are the challenges. I just do the challenge. I decided not to do. I decided to go and do racing, and because I did racing, I had to keep coming back to the previous races because I decided to do racing, and I didn't decide to do the challenges. I didn't care about the challenges. I'm like, if I do racing, if I win races, it's like any other sim racing game or any other simcade, any other racing game in general. If I win races, I get lots of stuff. I get lots of XP. I get lots of money. I can buy more cars. I can upgrade my cars, and I can keep winning. This game is like, nah, you winning? Who cares?
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like
who cares? Go and do the challenges, bro.
From what you're saying is essentially they into the single player. They instead of like making a racing game, they essentially did what were the licenses tests in Gran Turismo, where it's like, oh, do this corner in this amount of time to essentially be like, okay, now you know how to get fast around the corner and properly. Or, it's like, oh, there's a lap on this difficult technical racetrack. Do that, master the corners, win in a certain amount of time. And then on top of that, also Gran Turismo also had like a normal racing.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas here it seems like, oh, this is like all just challenges, essentially, like those old school like license tests from Gran Turismo, which is really weird. Considering like when you were speaking about a penalty, that's something that happens in Gran Turismo 4. It's like that happens in a game in 2004, and everybody complained about it. How is it like in a game in 2020?
It's just I don't understand it. You can have a penalty when you're going off track. Not penalty, but you can have your time. I understand that. You get your time cancelled, or your time doesn't count on that lap. Fair enough, yeah. But if you it's stupid. If you go off track on the exit of the corner, you get a slowdown penalty. You can't get a slowdown penalty on an exit of the corner unless there is a big astroturf and like there is Brands Hatch. There is an exit on turn 4, actually on turn 4, where you turn left and you go in banking, and there is a big exit. You can get a slowdown there. You can get a bit of a warning. You can get a warning. Hey, you've gone too far because there is a big astro after the curve. And we all use that. And on sim racing, I used to abuse that as much as I could. Put the 3.5 wheels on the astro on the exit, because it would give you more speed on the exit.
Yeah.
But man, if you do it in this game, you put 2 tires outside, because I've driven there and I got a slowdown putting the 2 tires outside. And I've gone to the grass and I got a slowdown. And I'm like, and the slowdown doesn't mean that, it's going to be 1 second or 2 seconds. No, the slowdown is probably going to 3-4 seconds. And the entire grid just get past you. The entire grid. And then when you come back, there is a car inside your car and you can't see nothing if you're driving inside. It's just, to me, it seems like they have no clue what they're doing. Like, they got no idea. They came up with the idea. It's like, oh, we are gonna do. I can picture it. I can picture it. It's slightly mad studios. A guy saying, next Forza, I got it. We're gonna do it. Next game is gonna be the next Forza, and we're gonna beat Forza Gran Turismo. We're gonna be the number one, and everyone went crazy. What do we do? Slow down every corner. Who cares?
It feels like they essentially took a look at Forza Gran Turismo, and be like, yeah, we can totally make one of those without understanding what makes those games good. Exactly. And how to make like progression, because I don't think they had really progression in Project Cars 1 or 2. So now essentially they are stepping into this, and they see, because now when you look at progression systems and compare them to what we had back then, now they're way slower to essentially be like, okay, you spend more time on the game, more money on the game. Whereas it's like, when I think back again to Gran Turismo 4, it's like every single like championship, every single race you finish, A, you get money, B, you get a bonus car that you can drive afterwards. And that's not happening anymore.
The progression system is very, like what you're saying, is very important. It's very important.
Yeah.
Progression system is very important on this type of racing. If you're trying to do a syndicate racing, it's very important. Why? Because you claiming you have 200 and something cars. Who cares about those cars if I can't even drive them? If I have to grind your game for hours and hours on end to try the game, to try the cars. Like I should not be able to have to sell my cars in order for me to purchase a new one. I'm not slow. I've almost won every single race, but I can't, because there is the most stupid thing. Whoever came up with this, really, you should not be doing simcade driving games in your life ever again, because the brilliant mind. So basically, that person, it just thought of the brilliant idea of saying, okay, so we're just gonna do a progression system, but we're not gonna reward enough, because before I was getting, I would say about, I think it's 2,000 and then 3,000, 6,000 and then 10,000 on level 4. I'm on level 4. The leveling up system is super slow. That's what it's It's super slow. And super, like, the progression is very slow. And it's only based on challenges. The more challenges you do, the more you progress. So it's not even about winning races. It's about doing challenges, which does not make any sense. If you win a race, if you finish on top 3, you should get a big chunk, or you should get coins, and then they don't reward you with cars. There is not a single car in reward. So it's like, what's the point of having 200 cars? And I can't even drive them. Yeah. I have to grind your game for 2,000 hours in order for me to play it. No one is going to do that. Listen, you're a racing game. No one even does that on Forza. If you do that on Forza, if you spend the amount of hours that I spent on this game on Forza, I will have by now 20 cars easily. Yeah.
That's the thing. It's like, because that's the end game, right? It's like, I have an old saved game, again on Gran Turismo 4, 3, whatever, where I have every single car unlocked in my garage, and that's essentially the end game. It's not to drive like a one car and be like, okay, I'm really good at driving this car in this class. No, simcades are about, it's like, I have like 800 cars in my garage, and I can, pick and drive whatever I want.
Exactly.
Whenever I want.
And you got
not
choices.
Having to sell every single car just so I can get a new one.
But that's what they promote, isn't it? You have 200, 300 cars to choose from, because they sell it to you. They say, you can drive all of them. You don't have money, don't worry, because we are going to send you, when you finish this race, and if you win it on this class, boom, you get a brand new BMW, which you can drive on the next, series. Fear not, because you don't have to drive the BMW that we're giving you, because previously, for winning every race, we're giving you 200,000 coins, which gives you plenty of money to buy 2 more cars.
Yeah.
Go and choose whatever car you want, or the car we're giving you. They give you choice. They give you plenty of coins and choices. It's been done for years now. It's not new. It's been done for years. It's been since the era of PlayStation 1. Yeah. You don't have to be a brainiac to know that. You can't be doing a game like this and be so stingy, because you're trying to do. They have the mentality of a sim racing game and trying to do a sim game. That doesn't work. They should have not. Someone should have noticed this before, because I just can't get my head around someone sitting down and playing the game and saying, okay, this game feels great.
Mhm.
And driving in the snow and saying this game feels great. That's impossible. Because literally after 5 hours into the game, you hit a massive brick wall. And I've had to sell my cars in order to purchase new cars. And I ended up upgrading a previous car to drive on the next series. I couldn't even afford a new car. And at some point, I said, I can't even unlock the next series because he's asking me to finish challenges on the previous series, which I don't care about anymore because I've been driving enough already of it. And second, that series, in order to get more challenges on that series, is asking me to purchase 3 other cars. How do you pretend me to afford those cars? I got no choice. You're not giving me money. You're not giving me the cars. And you're asking me to unlock the next series to invest money onto the previous cars. I don't even have it. How do you want me to do that? It just, in my brain, it doesn't make any sense. Like, I sit down on the game on the first 2 hours, I realized it. On the first 2 hours, I realized, well, I said, you know what, might be just a start. They might be a bit stingy at the start, and then you start progressing and you start getting more and more money.
Yeah.
Man, it gets worse. It doesn't get better. It gets worse, progressively worse, the more time you spend onto the game. Like I said, I've got a good 15 hours into the game now. I left yesterday upset with the game because I was recording that for my YouTube channel. I'm doing a gameplay series exclusively on my YouTube channel just because of that game. And I had to stop it because I spent the entire day yesterday, Bam Bam, the entire day, just to record 3 miserable videos. I spent like 3 videos, which is, let's say, half an hour each, yeah? 1 hour and a half, okay? I spent about 12 hours sitting down, grinding the heck out of the game. And at the end, I was like, I can't progress anymore. It's impossible. I got no money. I got no car. How do I do it? Like, there is nothing I can do about it. Like, I even had to purchase 2 other cars to go back to other series to finish challenges in order to upgrade something or unlock something. I purchased them. I did 2 of them. They were difficult as hell. I had to upgrade the cars. I had to spend more money on them. I finished them and I didn't even have enough. And I had to end up selling them again and upgrading the other car, racing on the higher series with the old car that I had. And at some point, I was like, I got to the point where I couldn't do anything else because the game is asking me to purchase 3 other cars in order for me to unlock more challenges. And I'm like, I got no money. I can't unlock them. How do you want me to do it?
See, yeah, that's the thing. It's really weird because, like, as much as I don't like the game, Grid 2019, it's like what it does, and I think it does this well, is if you want, because you have to purchase, certain class of car to compete in championships and stuff like that, but you're never locked into a single like series. It's like, okay, it's like I bought a car for GT2, but to continue GT2 or GT Championship into GT1 and GT Prototype, I need more money. But then again, I can go back to like a previous series and I can finish that off, with the cars I have.
I play Grid, Bam Bam.
Yeah.
I never felt this. On Grid, you get plenty of money. You can buy the car. You cannot buy the car if you don't want to, but you get the money. You have plenty. You can buy after the first few races, because I've done it as well. I did that first few races and I have plenty of money. Like, I have money to buy 2 or 3 more cars.
Yeah.
I could go anywhere.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like it gives you, in a game like that, you need more avenues to get money, get the currency, to buy more cars. Especially if the game's like, oh, you need this specific type of car to be able to compete in that series. So yeah, it seems like the entire, like, to condense it feels like slightly Mad Studios, it's like had a general idea, but they completely misunderstood how to build the game and its progression.
Yeah.
To build a decent Simcade experience.
I just want to read you one review that I've seen. Just one review. That it actually just explains how this game feels. very well. Okay, this review is a 1-star review, obviously. The review goes like that. If you've never seen a car, never had a car, or never driven an automobile, then this game is for you. You couldn't be disappointed if you have no idea what you should expect from it. A game whose title stands for Community Assisted Racing Simulator. Remember that, because it's Assetto Corsa. It's a simulator. That's what Assetto Corsa means. That's the whole meaning of Assetto Corsa. The only simulation available is low effort, 1 step forward, 877 steps backwards. Of a cliff into the deepest crevice of failure of a game is one that effectively simulates how it feels to be slapped in the face with a house brick without actually needing to be physically assaulted with a house brick. It looks and feels, though, slightly mad. The studios took a 4-year-old mobile game, cut out half of the fun stuff, refilled it with good, awful music, which, by the way, is horrible, and they put it into the racing. A soundscape written on a PlayStation 1. The soundscape, it's literally a cardboard. Graphics that is first year animation student will be ashamed of calling their own. As a given, it's a mobile game. A photo mode that insulting to the very term. Yeah, the photo mode is actually, don't use it. That's my answer. Don't use the photo mode, because there is a photo mode in the game. And a handling engine akin to sliding down an corrugated tin roof on a slightly wet, very angry halibut. Honestly, it's just the driving is so bad. It's that bad. It's like literally driving a marshmallow on top of that track. It's like, honestly, it's like that. If this game were free, I would still say it was too expensive. Don't buy it. Don't encourage anyone to buy it. Even if you really, really hate them, they wouldn't deserve this. I sincerely, that whatever substances were affecting the decision of making slightly mad studios, and they can go back to making games as excellent as Project Cars 2 was. This is the most accurate review of the game. This game feels like a mobile game badly ported onto a driving game on console and PC without a single clue of what they're doing. No driving feeling to it. Because you can have, like on on Forza Horizon, Forza Motorsport, you get, I don't know, how many cars do you get in Forza Motorsport? Like 300 something crazy. You can, obviously, after so many cars, some cars feel bad, some other cars feel really good. On this game, everything feels bad. Everything you drive. GT3 might feel good. I can't even drive it. I don't have the money. I can't drive it. I can't even try it for myself. I've tried something similar. It is okay. It still slides. Like if it was a Forza 1 type of game. I really... This is my final saying on this game. It is... Even if you hate that person, please do not recommend them to play this game. That person does not deserve to experience this game. It doesn't matter what bad they've done to you. It is, honestly, it is the worst experience on a simcade I've ever had. The worst experience on everything. Like even the thing they tried to do new, the breaking point, and it is the worst marking on a track that I've ever seen in my life. And if you have full marks, which obviously punishes you with XP, and the full on marks means that you have 3 dots. Breaking point, apex, and exit. That's full on breaking points. You don't even see marks on the floor. You don't even know where you're going because you can't even see it. If you don't know the track, you could be going on the left and the breaking point is on the right, and you might miss it because it happened to me a million times. Because there is a ton of tracks. That's a really good thing. A ton of tracks, a ton of cars. That's really good. You've done that really well, Project Cars. Everything else is bad. Not bad. Everything else is horrible. Everything else. There is nothing else that is good apart from that. You might be driving on like I said, Scotland, track reverse, version C, 0.2.1, which means it's one version of the track. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, there's a million tracks. Where the heck do I have to brake? How do I know if I'm going too fast? There is 3 dots and you're punishing me with XP because you put in 3 dots on the freaking track. No, my friend. Stop being creative. Well, not be creative. I mean, whoever came up with that was like, I don't know what he was having, but I want some of that. Whoever said, "Oh, it would be amazing." Like, let's move away from the the breaking points and the red and the green, like, so people know if they're going too fast on the corners. Let's go away from that. Oh, what do you have? 3 dots. Breaking apex exit. Brilliant. Goes into the game.
Just to
And
like bit of yeah.
I'm having whatever they're having.
Yeah, bit
Thank
off
you.
topic, because that was the problem for me with the Crew 2. They have a racing line, kinda, but it's not on the road. It's above you.
Yeah,
So
that's horrible.
that I was like, how did you come up? It's like, don't you understand it? I need to watch the road to know where I'm going, but I also kind of want to see the racing line, because essentially you're driving through a city and you need to know where to turn.
Yeah.
And I have to look up to take my eyes off the road, so
Exactly.
I crash or whatever to know where I'm going. So yeah, I think that whoever did that probably saw the Crew 2 was like, that's a neat idea. We can make it even worse.
No. yeah, make it even worse. Well, listen, there is, like, in my mind, okay, let's be honest. In my mind, there is only, this is a racing game. This is not a RPG, a MMO, or whatever it is. You can't be creative. I mean, you can be creative, but breaking and racing line means one thing and one thing only on racing games. Because racing games is a car on a track and corners. And your eyes have to be in front of you, in front of the car. There is only one way to do it. Lines on the floor. Like everyone does. Everyone does the same thing. Yes, Rally My Studios, everyone does the same thing. But it's the only way. It is the only way. Why? Because we need to know when to brake. If we don't know the track, some people might not be experts. Some people might not know the tracks. And some people might have 10-year-old and they just want to drive the car all around the track and everything. But give them marks on the floor. Why the marks on the floor exist? Because it's the only way for you to know where to go. If you have 30 fictional tracks, that's very necessary. It's just stop being creative. Well, that's not being creative. That's whatever the word is smoking. I want some of that, because that's not a good idea. Like, full on track, line means that I need to know on the floor where I'm going. I need to know on the floor, because there is got to be a mark, a line, or an arrow or something to let me know that no, you shouldn't be going to the left, because the next corner is going to be to the left. You should be going on to the right. There should be something on the floor. If I put that and you're punishing me for having full on lines, you punish me with, I think it's a 2 or 4% of the XP. That means that you have to put a line on the floor to tell me that I have to be on the right, not on the left of the track. Don't put a dot on the corner of the freaking end of the track on the that is red. There, brake, and you're on the left side. There is a million, like, honestly, no joke. There is a million times that I was on the wrong side of the track. I did not see the red mark. Oh, that's another thing. I forgot about this. Did you know one thing? It's a sim cave. Did you know there is no rewind?
See, I'm fine with that. It's like, I don't think a rewind is necessary.
No. I mean, you don't have tracks on the floor. You have fictional tracks. You have to be racing for challenges. You have to do all of that. There is no rewind option for it. Like, seriously. I mean, you can take the option. Like, on Forza, you can do it. You can take the replay, the rewind off, and it gives you more XP.
Yeah, it gives you more XP and more money as well.
Yeah. It rewards you for not doing it. This game doesn't even have the option. You mess it up, restart the entire game. Not the entire game, restart the entire race. That's your only option. So if you literally crash on the last corner after winning the entire thing and you mess it up, there is no rewind option. There is nothing that I can say good about this game apart from having a million tracks and 200 cars. That's it. There's nothing else good to this game.
I think that's a good final word.
I'm really sorry.
No, it's fine. I mean, you actually said something positive about it. That there's a lot of tracks and cars. I just want to say that. So there is something positive to say about it. You're a very positive person. Don't stress yourself, Val. You did good. You tried.
No, they tried,
Sometimes,
not me. They
so,
tried.
sometimes games are just not meant to be. Let's move on from Project Crash Test to
Something positive, actually.
yeah. Let's
So,
talk about Control Final DLC.
so for those who don't know, Control is a action game. It's a really cool action game by Remedy Studios, who are the people behind Max Payne, Alan Wake, Quantum Break, or if you're a hipster, it was a Death Rally. And it's a game based around kind of this idea like a Twilight episode, X Files, and SCP Foundation. And just 2 days ago, it got its final DLC chapter expansion, which was the Altered World event expansion, and that resulted in a crossover with the Alan Wake universe. And it's a great DLC. I think what they did well with both of the expansions, the Foundation and now the AWE, it's they up the game with the combat encounters. They do a lot with them. They try different things. They put spin on them. And AWE is the same. In Foundation, it was mostly about dodging enemies with similar abilities to yours. And AWE adds the darkness from Alan Wake, where you have to contend with enemies in that regard as well. And here we also get some new enemies that are capable to fly. Is the elevated rangers, and they're fun. But what was mostly for me exciting about it was the fact that it's an Alan Wake crossover. Alan Wake is one of my favorite Remedy titles, and here essentially the way it's presented is it's an Alan Wake 2 teaser. And spoilers for the story of Control. From what we get in the reading material you collect throughout the expansion, and there's a lot of it, which I thought was a great touch, because Alan Wake is a writer. And here, a lot of the writing we find is essentially related to Wake, his disappearance at the end of Alan Wake. And also, we find a script for a in-universe show, which explains why essentially Control happened within the canon of the game, and as well as probably like a meta commentary that essentially Control is a way for Alan Wake to come back. And I think that's what Remedy is saying. Essentially, Control was a way to secure means to make Alan Wake 2. And yeah, at the end, what we get is we have signal from Bright Falls, and I think they say it's a couple years in the future. If we have an agent there, it's like, yes, we have an agent there. Okay, she'll take care of it. So probably that's essentially what I think means is we're getting Alan Wake 2 in a couple of years. That essentially now that's their project after Control. Yeah, like even then, like even with speaking about Control itself, Control is a great game. I recommend everyone to play it. It has some of the best combat. I would compare it to Doom 2016. The combat's that good. Yeah, if you wanna fire any questions.
Not really. I've never played Control, so I've seen it though.
You should maybe play it because it's the and Alan Wake is also one of my favorite games of all.
Oh yeah,
That
Yeah,
is
yeah. I'm not into like the Alan Wake series, but that might be why.
Val. I'm sorry for you, but you have to hand in your gamer credentials and leave the podcast. No, I'm kidding.
I'm going with Project Cars. I'm going to Slightly Mad Studios. I'm gonna sign up with them. Jesus Christ.
No,
I've never been like I've seen Control and everything, but it's never been. You know what I mean? It's never been my, kind of like my thing. I don't know, for some reason, it's just not.
Yeah, it's weird because it's like you like action games, and like Max Payne 1, Max Payne 2, Control are some of the best action games out there.
I just, never come around to actually play it.
I mean, you should. Now there's the Ultimate Edition
Okay.
out. It's like
which is
it's
sexy.
like 30 quid, and you get the season pass as well.
Is that on console as well?
Yeah, it's on. I'm pretty sure it's on. I played it on first on PS4,
Mm-hmm.
so it should be on Xbox One as well.
Okay.
So yeah, it's a cool story as well. I think that's what we're missing now. It's cool stories in action games. Control is one of the best out there. It's a really fun game with interesting visuals. It's almost, because that's how a lot of Remedy games are set up as a movie, but in a way where they have unified vision all the way through. There's like very little deviancy. There's like a core vision that stretches throughout the entire game and keeps the pace up. Like there's never a dull moment in those games, and that's how Remedy, I think, works throughout all of them. Even
Yep.
Alan Wake, as like stretched out as it can seem at some points, it's essentially an idea of making a show or a movie based on like a Stephen King stories over, like, I think it's 5 or 6 episodes, but it works because it's a unified vision. It doesn't deviate, and it keeps its pace up, and its ideas and everything just makes it so it works as a whole.
The other thing about Alan Wake specifically is that the enemies are actually really fun to fight.
Yeah,
For some
fun
reason,
to fight.
they really managed to what sounds actually like a really obnoxious concept.
Yeah.
To make that really fun and engaging.
Yeah, I think what they do a lot with it is they have several different types of them. It's every single encounter is a combat puzzle. It's never a straight up shootout. It's a combat puzzle, and that's a way also to treat combat. I think that's where I think Control one ups Alan Wake in that regard, and why I like really would say it's up there with Doom 2016, because
Uh-huh.
every encounter is a combat puzzle. It's not a simple shootout. You have to think about how you fight the enemies. Yeah, also like there's this tidbit in the last expansion from Control where they hint how, in Alan Wake, the enemies spit out random lines based on their character. What they did, I think it's a cool bit they reveal in this at the end of this expansion is essentially they had lines that would be said by that character. They cut those lines into pieces, put them in the shoebox, and randomly put them up and put them onto the script. So that's why they have, like, say, random stuff at random times when they are taken over by the darkness, because it's like the darkness doesn't really comprehend the language properly, so it just has them spit out random stuff that's based on their personality. So it's really cool, and yeah, I would say, like, even like if you want to play just a cool game, Control is a way to go.
Yeah.
I'll probably have to give it a try. Got time now to play other games.
Yeah, I
Now
mean,
is the best time ever.
yeah, I mean, you quit Project Cars 3, so might as well play this.
Yeah.
ST Formula 1 2020. It's actually, I love it. I'm loving it.
And you wanted to share some Monster Hunter. Oh,
Yeah, we're getting the final stand, the last free update for Monster Hunter Iceborne, and we're getting Fatalis. Big Daddy Fatalis is back, the original Black Dragon, the Forbidden Dragon, because up until I think last year or 2 years ago, when they had the 15 years of Monster Hunter celebration, it was said within the Monster Hunter team, Fatalis will never be on any of the official materials. It was supposed to be a secret, and it was a secret for the longest time because it was in the first game. It was only a boss you could fight only if you were online. It was strictly online boss only, and now we're getting him with a full-fledged story bit, and hopefully it means we're getting not just the original Black Fatalis, but I'd love to fight the red, the crimson, and the white Fatalises, which are different versions, different abilities. Also, we're getting the Shrate Castle arena with it. So we're not fighting him in Astera or Celiana related areas, but we're getting back to the old continent, to the original arena where I think outside of the Crimson Fatalis fight, you fight always a fatalis in the straight castle with the cannons and the ballistas. So it's a cool throwback, especially for essentially what is supposed to be the last free update or title update, a big chunk of update for Monster Hunter Iceborne. What got also my attention was the way they word it. It's the last free title update for Monster Hunter Iceborne, and I'm not sure if it means just the translation on the Japanese stream was wrong, if it means that it's the last free update for this, like a Monster Hunter as a whole, Monster Hunter World and Monster Hunter Iceborne, or if that hints that after this title drops, we might have to expect another expansion.
I love Monster Hunter, man. Like,
it's a great
to
game.
me, that game is, it's really good. To just the only thing that I have to say is just the Monster Hunter became, I don't know, it became a little bit too like, it took too long just to fight. Kind of like at the start was good, but then at the point of the Iceborne, which is like the master rank, isn't it?
Yeah, master rank. Yeah,
the master rank kind of the game.
Mhm.
I started to get back into it. It just ended up putting me off. And the only thing that actually put me off on the game was the fact that it would take me 35 minutes to kill one monster. Don't have the patience anymore. Because before the master rank, it was fine because there would be like a, you could get a good kill in 15 minutes, and then the elder dragons, it would be maybe 20 minutes, around 20 minutes or so. It would be fun to do that about 20-25 minutes top. I wouldn't go any over 25 minutes. I'll say around 20, 15-20 minutes. It will be a fight. Sometimes it would take a bit longer, but because you didn't, maybe it was like you were matchmaking with random people and they didn't have the the weapons or anything like that.
See,
But master rank came in, man, like all of a sudden, like fights were half an hour plus.
See, I didn't have that issue at all. See, like I don't. I think actually master rank fights got even shorter. But then again, it's like when I stepped into Iceborne, I had already like 600 hours in the like Monster Hunter World. So I came off and it's like, oh, I know it's like basically how to fight any type of monster. Especially because the power level jump of your equipment to master rank, even the base one, is so high that it shortened the hunts. And the master rank HP on the monsters is not that high. It's less than a temperate monster. So I'm not sure. Maybe you were just rusty because like in the end, I don't think like most hunts I remember from the start didn't take me more than 15 minutes.
It really took me a long time. It really did take me a long time. It took me that long that actually like pulled me off completely.
Yeah.
That I was spending so much time trying to get trying to get that master the master rank, and I just at that point I was like, man, I just can't keep doing this because it just feels like that I'm doing too. It's taking me too long to be finishing the actual. It's taking me way too long to finish the actual race. It's just not the race, the fight. It's just taking. I don't know. Like there is a point where it stops being fun. I mean, I was rusty. I gotta admit, I was rusty. But I've put probably more time than you on Monster Hunter.
Yeah, but then again, I'm like 6,000 hours over the entire franchise.
Oh yeah, I'm talking about I'm talking about specifically Monster Hunter World, because I had 72 different sets with different stats.
Yeah, see,
when I finished playing Monster Hunter, like when I went back, I was like, Jesus Christ, how many sets did I did? I did 72 different sets, weapons, like different classes, different, resistance, difference. I had like classes and classes of, even like I managed to master every single. How many weapons are 16 weapons?
14 classes.
14 classes of weapons. I had classes for each weapon.
Yep.
I managed to master all of them. I came back to it. I mean, I was rusty and everything. But I mean, the sword and shield, that was kind of, easier for me and everything. I came to Iceborne and then I did the first, 3-4 monsters. I was like, okay, fair enough. I'm starting to get back into the, I know the movements. I'm starting to remember how the movements are and everything. I had actually, no, I'm lying. I had the switch axe. Man, I hit a wall where the next 2 monsters would take me 40 minutes to finish. And one of them, after trying it 3 times, killing me all 3 times. It actually, the last time that I did, I was like fighting with him, and the time expired. And I was like, nah, that's it. I cannot do it anymore.
That's the thing. I think, like for Monster Hunter, especially like because a lot of the monsters are based on monsters from the older games, and I have insane amount of hours in the older games, so I knew what to expect. But I totally get like when people fought varios for the first time, which is this flying like this winged tusk tiger, saber cat, essentially flying one, and a lot of people were just like, "Oh, what do I do?" It's like I don't know how to fight this. Yeah, it's like I didn't have when Iceborne hit. I was like, "This is the best the Monster Hunter got since World."
It might, I don't know. It might be that I'm a bit still rusty or something, but I was just using the weapon and I kind of like mastered the weapon a little bit, and it just, it did feel, it felt good. To come back and everything, but it's just that I hit this monster and I was like stuck with him for like 3 times he killed me or twice he killed me. The next time I spent the whole 40 minutes trying to hunt him and I couldn't. And at that point I was like, man, it just takes too long to fight one monster now. I had that feeling.
Yeah, I think as I said, I mean, I'm not one of those people who says get good, but at the same time, I think that's the idea. You just fight the monsters until you get it, and that's Monster Hunter. That's always been Monster Hunter.
Yeah, I'm not saying that's wrong, because I've played Monster Hunter in the past and I know exactly what you're saying.
Yeah.
And it's about, master every single monster.
Plus, this is G rank. Like this is the top of the game. What Iceborne did. So it's to be expected to be like tougher and
to me it felt like it lost the appealing what it had before. The appealing of the audience, because if I come back, I expect the game to be. Listen, I'm not gonna be playing the game for other, like the Chinese or the Japanese, whoever did it, and they did a really good job, and they've done a million games and everything. I know they do some things that cater for like the temper monsters. I didn't touch the temper monsters because I was a casual. I'm a casual. I play. I get addicted to the game, and I play the game over and over again. The temper monsters came in. I fought 2 of the temper monsters, and I said, nah, listen, I don't have the patience for this.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I think
that expansion was catered exactly for the audience.
That's what I was saying. Like essentially, like temper monsters, arch-tempered elder dragons, and stuff like that. It's like that's straight up all the G rank was, and what was the top of the line, where even half the people that played the older games made it to G rank. Not only because G rank was locked to online, because I enjoyed that kind of gameplay. Even now, like I get back and it's like I can't go straight back without like say I want to play again after a while. I can't go back and play like Switch Axe or Charge Blade or anything like that. I go back and I play with Greatsword because that's an easy way to get it back into the game. It's like G rank, and I think like for me as well, G rank is essentially where Monster Hunter is. Those super difficult hunts where you have to pay attention every single second because it counts. And use every single tool. That's Monster Hunter to me.
Don't you think the newest expansion on Monster Hunter was catered only for the experts?
I think it was because it was definitely because even when you think about it, you're building a rank on top of your hunter rank.
Yeah, but wouldn't be more clever, even though, I mean, because in my opinion, they built the game to have a broader audience, to have people from, not only Asians and purists, but to have everyone else accessing to the game. That's why the game was so successful, in my opinion. It became really successful.
But do you know also because you can't access the Iceborne content until you finish the core game?
I know. But
but even then, even a core game, like you have to put a significant amount of hours, significant amount of effort. Some of the hunts ain't easy.
well, you finish the game, you might like listen. 90% of the people have finished the game over a year ago. I finished the game a year ago, and they haven't touched the game. They did really well, in my opinion. They did a really good job on Monster Hunter. You steadily like on that game. To me, the game. I think the game ended up being game of the year, wasn't it?
Yeah, pretty sure it was. Yeah,
I would completely agree. Game of the year came out of nowhere. It was perfect on every single aspect. But the online was a mess. It was perfect. They fixed the online in the end, perfect on every single aspect. And that was an example on how to do a game from the get-go. How to do a game that is not broken. They had issues on the online thing, but this can happen on any game. But it was perfect. Nothing to touch on the game. Everything worked as intended. And they give you a steep, a learning curve. You got that learning curve that is like you start with the easiest ones, and you start, utilizing this weapon, and then you use this weapon, and you start learning the monsters, and then there is one monster that you get to. It's a little bit, then there is a bit of a jump. Up to that point, you are learning how to move. You are learning how to. They forgot about that on Iceborne. I understand. Nope. There's got to be an extra rank and everything, but you need to remember the people that were before the previous game want to get into it as well. They want to have that. I wanted to have that learning curve, not being thrown at these big guys already. I want to have that learning curve, get, those guys, maybe smaller ones, Palomo, the Ebony Palomo or whatever it was, have them with, that learning curve that you did on the previous game. Not on the previous game, but on the main game when it came out. Have me fighting those, have them with a lot lower health pool, so I can start feeling good about it because I'm killing the monster. I'm like, yes, I'm the best. I'm hunting monsters again. And then you start throwing more and more and more difficult, increasingly more and more difficult, more and more abilities on the monsters. And then you make that person feel good. By the third monster, that person is addicted to your game, which is what you did on the game at the start. By the third monster, you were like, yeah, man, like this game looks amazing. This game feels amazing. I'm killing monsters, and I feel like I'm on the top of the world. They don't do that on Iceborne.
Because they don't have to.
But that's what I said. In my opinion, that's why Monster Hunter Iceborne has gone kind of quiet really quick. Because
it didn't. It had like a large following for a long time.
It has a large following either way. They can throw whatever they want, and they're gonna have a large following either way. But it's died really quick. There is no a talk about Monster Hunter. On Monster Hunter 1, I remember there was a talk about Monster Hunter for almost the entire year.
Yeah, because it was a. That's the thing. So because it came out. Because it became a success despite of being a niche game, and that's why it was like all over. It's like everyone was like, Monster Hunter is actually good. Where Monster Hunter has been good since pretty much day one. When Iceborne came, I'm not gonna say it's for new players. It was even every single material that came out from the dev studio was, this is a end game content. This is for people who have mastered the core game and want a bigger challenge, and that's what it was. It didn't like hide away what it is. It's a G rank. You get G rank, you get screwed.
Yeah. But they didn't sell it that way. They obviously, said, "Oh, there's a new expansion, more monsters to play, and everything."
Yeah.
And it kind of it feels confusing. It was really, really like for real. It was really confusing because, you are expecting to have a game that is, is accessible again. I'm expecting to be.
But then again, think about it also this way: it's not a game; it's an expansion on top of a core game.
I want to go back into the game because if you cater that type of people in the past, you are going to cater to that. I'm expecting to do the same thing because I've not played the game for over a year. You know what I mean? So you are going to give me back the same feeling, and I'm going to get addicted again. I'm going to be playing your game again because you're gonna get me addicted because you gave me that feeling in the past, and you're gonna give it back to me. So now what they've done is something completely different. You know, what
Yeah.
they've done is coming back to
Well, but also the thing is, you come in and expecting to be eased into an in-game content. It's like coming into the last level of the game and being like, well, I haven't played this in ages. They should have like eased me into it before they like throw all this like final level challenge at me.
yeah, I don't think that. I mean, yeah, of course, yeah, I expect that. I do.
Oh well, you shouldn't, because that's bad game design.
No, because you have an introduction, and that's it. You have an introduction to 3 monsters, and then you kind of get back into the rhythm, get back
But
into
they give you
your.
introduction. That's the early missions. You get introduction to Beotudu's Bamboro, all the subspecies for Paolumu, the chameleon chicken. But yeah,
Yeah.
you get introduction quests for all of them that tell you how, that show you how they work, how to fight them.
Yeah, it still felt a bit too difficult for me. I don't know. It's just I felt like it was a bit different from the past, in my
I think
opinion.
it was like for me because I wanted G rank because I felt the core game was a bit too easy, and this is what they did.
Yeah.
And I think Iceborne was perfect for what it tried to be, and it succeeded in being it's an end game content for people who want to play end game content. Even Monster Hunter World had enough content. As I said, like for me, it had 600 hours worth of content for the core game.
I understand, but it wasn't advertised as that. You have to agree
It
with me
was.
there.
It was.
Advertised
But
as it was for only a specific amount of people.
no, it wasn't advertised for a specific amount of people, and that's bad marketing. What they said was this is essentially this is the new end game. This is the what we get to build on top of the game, and that's the thing I don't understand how you come into this thinking it's gonna be it's gonna ease you as a new player. This is not a new player content. If you want to get back into it, you start with the easier older quests to get back into it, and then you jump into this here. I just don't understand the reasoning on your part for a bit.
Yeah, well, okay, fair enough. I think I should, because of the experience I had in the past. In my opinion, when a new expansion comes, every single big expansion, they ease you on every single big expansion. If I'm honest with you, just look at the Division, look at Destiny, look at.
Well, but then
Those are
again,
the
it's like
best
you
games that
you
are
also
coming
have
to
to
mind.
yeah. But that's the thing. It's like you say Destiny, you say Division. The thing is, they have such a big player turnout that they have to do that. Monster Hunter, as much as a big of a success it was, it's a niche game with a specific kind of audience.
Yeah, I understand that. But they are also trying to sell more copies.
Yeah, but that's the thing. It's like you're not gonna sell more copies of that if you dilute what it is, because then you dilute the identity of your IP.
But Monster Hunter was diluted already.
No.
Well,
No?
it's not. No,
No.
it's
It was more accessible though.
like even
Yeah,
yes.
but making it more accessible doesn't mean automatically you dilute something.
Yeah.
That's not the same thing. Diluting would be so. What Monster Hunter World did. I mean, I'll take over here for a second. What Monster Hunter World did, and what it did really well, is they, as you said it, Val, they did ease the player into the franchise, new players, and they did this really amazingly well.
Yeah.
And they never diluted their content. They just made it more clear what is expected of the player, and they just made it more clear what the player can expect from the game.
Yeah.
And they explained their rule better. What they did with Iceborne, and here is where I stand, is they just layered the end game. I firmly believe they cut out the end game, not because they wanted to make extra money of it, but to give it to the really dedicated fan base later on and build on top of it. This is what I firmly believe, because the end game in Monster Hunter World, this is the only thing where they stopped, was never the end game you expected from a PSP Monster Hunter, from the Monster Hunter on the Wii, from a DS Monster Hunter. It's firmly mainstream there. This is the only thing they did. And then they released the Iceborne to build up on what came before.
Yeah, Monster Hunter is like Iceborne is essentially the expansion for people who wanted more Monster Hunter, more complex hunts, new environments, new stuff to deal with. And that's the thing. It's like essentially what Iceborne is the online only quests from the older Monster Hunter games.
Mhm.
It's the top of the game. It's the hardest quests in the game, and it's only for people who either play online or want to be really challenged.
Yeah,
And
no,
I think
I just, in my opinion, I just
Yeah.
obviously I did expect them
Yeah.
to ease me into that. Actually, put me off. Like have been playing the game, and I put a lot of hours on
Yeah.
the game, and I would have promoted the game like no one else, because I spoke very highly of the game always.
Yeah.
Because of the feeling I had with the game. I mean, I stopped playing because obviously you get bored of the games, and then you start moving on and everything. So
But
I always spoke really
Yeah.
highly of this game, and I thought that was the best game. Obviously, not just the year, but I would even say it will be, in my eyes, will be on top of Destiny, because it was so good just from the get go. It had my admiration. Now I felt like they, as a person from the outside, I'm just saying this. I'm not saying this has to be the way or anything like that. I'm not saying it's the way. Don't get me wrong, Batman. Don't get me wrong, Orco. It's my opinion is I felt left out on the expansion. I bought the expansion and I felt like they did not do the expansion for people like me. They didn't do the expansion for someone that is wanting to go back badly because he wants to come back. I wanted to go back into it and I wanted to get big into it again. And the game did not give me the game that they didn't show me the way again. They just basically put me out there with the big guys already. And I was like, whoa, I want to get the process again because I've not touched the game in an entire year. I want to get back into the rhythm and start feeling well about everything and then progressively keep going. Obviously, I expect on any game, to be honest, any game has to reintroduce you when a big expansion comes out because you need to get back into it. They know you have not been playing this game probably for months. And a game so in depth as Monster Hunter, each class, each weapon has movements and special abilities and special attacks and heavy attacks. And it's just in my brain, I was like, wow, okay. I played 2 days and I said, I give up. I purchased this expansion for nothing. I felt disappointed. And that's my experience. That's my opinion. I'm not
See,
saying it has to do it.
Nobody.
I said
see,
it
but
needed to kind of like give you a bit of that taste, like give you a little bit of that. There you go.
sorry, but the thing is, as I said, they do that. Like they introduce you to 2 new monsters, and they slowly do that. It's like it's easy. Like the first 2 quests, the monsters have lower HP than they normally do. They do less damage.
It still was a tiny bit difficult. I experienced it myself, and I felt a bit like, oh wow, okay.
Okay, so that let's just say it this way. You felt left out. Nobody wants to take away that experience, and that's okay. Bam Bam sees it differently because I think you two are like clashing rocks at the moment, but that's okay. But I don't want to knock you two guys, but I think the discussion goes kind of is at an impasse at the moment. So
Yeah.
I would just say that we agree to disagree here.
Yeah, thoroughly.
And yeah, so we can just close out for today.
Yeah.
Or is there anything you want to add?
Don't play in Project Cars 3. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, and that leads to don't pre-order games, kids.
This was episode 20 of the Orcocast. It was a absolute joy, and with me was my beautiful co-host Lord Val. Where can we find you?
You can find me on Instagram and TikTok, Lord Val Gaming, and also you can find me on Twitter, Lord Val Twitch, and also I stream on Twitch every Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and Sunday. Twitch.tv/Lord Val Gaming, and on YouTube as well, Lord Val Gaming.
Bam Bam. We can find you in my chat. Can we find you anywhere else?
Nope.
Awesome. You can find me on twitch.tv/theorcosaurus. I stream every Monday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And you can find me on twitter.com/theorcosaurus, instagram.com/orcosaurus, and on YouTube/orcosaurus. So, I bid everyone a farewell. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. You have been an amazing audience, like always. And if you disagree with us, thoroughly thumb this video down. If you agree with us, please thumb it up. And you take very good care of yourselves until next time. And bye-bye.
Bye.
See y'all.